What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to show you the deck list I brought to the Sioux Falls, South Dakota Regional on Saturday, June 5th. It's a pretty casual regional. There's only 80 people. A lot of rogue, I noticed. That's what I mostly faced. Faced 2 despia, 1 punk therion, 2 dinomorphia, surprisingly. And yeah, everything else is pretty standard. 1 sword soul. Xiaofang turns off all your light monsters. That kind of sucks. But yeah, here we go. So I played Exosisters. I chose to do this instead of the despia deck I had because everybody knows how to play against despia, and I felt like no one was going to know what this deck did and was going to play into it very well, and that's pretty much what happened. So let's get into it. Start off, you're playing 3 Elise. She's the best card in your deck. Special summons herself for free if you have another Exosister on field. Very good, great extender. Your second best one, Stella. You can normal summon her, use her effect, she special summons another Exosister from hand. Second best extender you have. This is a little bit weird. I played 3 Sophia. This one lets you draw one if you have another Exosister on field. Most people play it at 2, but I felt like it was better at 3 because the draw power was just too insane during the grind games. I played 2 Irene. This is the worst one by far. It is a draw 1 as well, except you have to send an Exosister from your hand to the bottom of your deck as cost, and then you draw 1. Got Ash on that a few times, hurt really bad. That's it for the Exosister monsters. For extenders, I played 2 Gigabytes. This is your best one. If it's destroyed, you can special summon another 1500 attack monster from your deck, which is all the Charmer monsters are. So you play 2 of those. I played 1 of all the other ones. There's good extenders, special summon themselves for free if you have a spellcaster on field. And then I played 1 Dinotherium. This is a free special summon. However, it lets your opponent special summon a level 4 from either graveyard, which can trigger the Exosister effects to tag out into another Exceed material by themselves. I only played 1 because I feel like during the grind game this can really stab you in the back. Then I played 3 Zoro, the Magistus. This is a pretty cool card. You can activate its effect and attach a Magistus monster from your extra deck to it, and that lets you special summon a spellcaster from your hand or deck. Hand or graveyard. Pretty good in the grind game. You don't really want to see it on your turn 1 though, because if this gets Veilered, you're pretty much out. For the spells, I played 3 packs. This is the craziest card in the deck. It's a Rhoda, along with you have any of the aforementioned names that correspond with each other in your field or graveyard. It lets you special summon them out for free after you search it. Extremely good card. And you don't even have to search the monsters, you can search any card with Exosister in the name. That came up a few times. This is different. I played 1 carpedivem. Don't know who made this so hard to pronounce. This isn't normally played, but it's like a prohibition for when you Exceed summon, which I thought was extremely good. It came up a lot during the tournament. It also has 2 more effects, 3 effects in the card, usually pretty good. On an attack deck involving any of your Exosister monsters, you can target any back row and destroy it. And it also has a protection effect, where neither player can target your Exosister monsters with monster effects special summon from the graveyard. That never came up, kind of just wasted text. But you know, if it comes up, it comes up. 2 consistent cards, Pot of Prosperity, pretty good. You use up most of your extra deck, but there's a few cards in there that are just for flex spots, so you can get rid of them. Get a little search power, make it more consistent. Not much more to say about that. 1 Call by the Grave. Crazy good card. You don't want to get Ash, you don't want to get Veilered. Great card. I played 1 Cosmic Cyclone. You need to have an out for Mystic Mine. You only play the 1 though, because your deck can play very well under Mystic Mine. So I just have this in here because the turn you kill Mystic Mine is the turn you're going to win. 1 Monster Reborn. This is actually crazy good. Their boss monster takes any 2 of your level 4 Exosister monsters. So you just survive any of the other ones, and you just make 1 exceed, and you can go into your boss monster. Super good. 1 Mystic Mine, gotta play it. This deck has a horrible going second turn, so you need this, turn off your opponent's stuff, play out your turn. For the spice, play 2 Zexal Fields. This card is actually insane. Whenever you special summon an Exceed monster, you can target it, and you can attach another Exceed monster from your grave or extra deck and put it on it as material. This came up crazy often. So your boss monster has an effect to tag out for anything underneath it, and that is not a once per turn effect. And it also has the effect to quick effect banish any card non-targeting on your opponent's field, which is a soft once per turn. So what you do is you summon this, you attach another one underneath it, and you have infinite tag outs, so your opponent can't do anything about it really. Crazy good card. And your opponent actually can't respond to this, because this prevents your opponent from responding to card effects that target an Exceed monster on your field, and this targets it to put an Exceed monster underneath. Pretty good card. You're playing 3 field spells, so you're going to play a Terraforming, search those babies out. For the traps, I played 3 Vadis. Most builds I see play only 2. I decided to bump it up for 3. This card lets you summon 2 Exosisters with corresponding names from your deck, and then you're locked into Exosisters for the rest of the turn. Crazy good card, crazy good in the grind game. Normally your turn 1 you search this off of your Michaelis. I didn't want to do that though. I really wanted to search out the continuous spell, carpedivem, because this card gets crazy when you're able to tag out on your opponent's turn and turn off 1 card in their deck. Crazy good. So I really wanted to open this hard so I could search out the carpedivem. And then for the hand traps, played 3 Veiler, 3 Imperms. These basically do the same thing. I didn't feel like Ash was really needed during this format. The deck has a good matchup versus Despia already, so there's no need to main deck Ash. I'd much rather have these to turn off something for Sword Soul or Flunder, stop their turn so you can play. In the extra deck, you're playing 3 Machias. This card is insane. The turn Exceed summon using any Exosister monster. You don't have to use 2, you can use 1. It has a quick effect banish. This is 1 target though, but you can banish anything on the field or in your opponent's graveyard. Insane. It also has a detach effect. This can happen whenever, not just the turn it's summoned. You can detach 1, search any spell or trap that has Exosister in the name. Crazy good card. Second best one, Caspitel. She has a mandatory trigger effect the turn she is summoned using an Exosister to lock your opponent out of special summons from the graveyard. That came up a few times, especially versus the dinomorphia players. They can't tag out on destruction for any of the other dinomorphia cards in the grave. So that helped me win a few of those. Much like Machias, this one lets you summon lets you search a monster, the Exosister monster. Very good card for follow-up. Third best, Esophiel. The turn she summoned, use an Exosister as material. Neither player can activate card effects in the graveyard. It's just a Dweller. She also has a effect to bounce an opponent's card. Non-quick effect though, so that doesn't really come up that often. The worst one, but still comes up sometimes, Gibrain. The turn she is summoned, turn she summoned, you have a quick effect, imperm-like effect, so it just negates your opponent's monster. And then she also has an effect that lets you boost Exceed monsters in your field by 800. This is not just the monsters on field at the time. So if you summon this, link it off, and go into Exceeds later, they'll still be boosted by the 800. Very good card when you're going for lethal. Next is their big boss monster. You play 2 of it. Magnifica. She has a double attack with a 28 attack. Very good card. She has a quick effect on either player's turn to banish non-targeting. Super crazy. And non-once per turn is her effect to tag out for any material underneath it. Card is crazy good, really hard to out. Your opponent wastes so much trying to get rid of this that they can't play the turn, really. For Exceeds that are not part of it, you play 1, number 41. If your hand's really bad and you can only get 1 Exceed out, you're usually summoning this to make sure your opponent can't play. Basic card. Never really came up. And you're playing Exceed, so you're playing a Zeus. For non-Exceeds, you gotta play it. Crazy good card, crazy good removal. And to get into that, you're playing 1 of the light drummer. Helps you get up. Gives it 2,000 boost. Gets over a few things. And then you're playing 2 Magistus cards. This thing, when it's equipped to a Magistus monster, it lets you search out another Magistus from the deck. So it helps you keep advantage. Other than that, it's just in there for being equipped so you can use your other Magistus to special summon. For the side deck, you're playing 3 Artifact Lancia. Flunder is this deck's worst matchup, because if your opponent does not move cards from their graveyard, and you can't get out your boss monster, you're not playing the game. So you play 3 of this, so your opponent cannot get a good board going. We're playing 3 Droll. I was really worried about the Therion matchup with this deck. I haven't had much testing against it, so I'd rather have hand traps to stop them from getting crazy advantage. Never really came up. Staple in everybody's side deck right now, Dimensional Barrier. The card needs no explanation. Turn off your opponent's extra deck. Crazy good. We're only playing 2 Ash Blossoms in the deck. Like I said, I'm not really worried about the despia matchup in this. So, and there's not really much else you're trying to Ash in the format at the moment. So 2 of this was nice. And then we're playing 2 Token Collector. This probably should have been at 3. Just because Sword Soul is everywhere. I play 1 Sword Soul. This won me the game. Very good card. You're playing 2 DD Crows. There is a lot of graveyard reliant decks right now, and you can just get rid of whatever you need. Self-explanatory. I did pretty well in the event. I went 5-2, placed 15th. Wish I had done better on that, but tiebreakers. They happened. Lost round 1 to Despia. I bricked really hard. Not much you can do in that scenario. Not much in the deck I would really change other than Token Collector to 3 probably in the side. But yeah, I thought it performed very well. Literally nobody, there's 2 people who knew what any of these cards do. And that was because they go to my locals, so they have already played me, so they know what these do. Everybody else was walking right into a set Vadis, and I got 2 free extenders out as they moved cards from graveyard when the Exceed monsters stop their turn. The deck's incredible against players who have no idea how to play against it. If they do know how to play, they can play around it. But they usually are not able to kill you through your first turn, and this deck is very grindy, and it will whittle down your opponent. So my only 2 losses were against Despia. First turn, he chimera'd me for 2 of my monsters on field. Couldn't come back from that, and he OTK'd me the next turn. And my other loss was to ABC Therion. I haven't tested against that deck at all, so I don't know what any of the stuff in there did. Game 1, I just couldn't play. Game 2, I realized what his deck did. We went to the grind game, and I ran out of my extra deck cards. We banished 6 off of Prosperity, and the only things I had left by the end of it were 2 cards. It was this, and it was... what was it? Oh, it was Caspatel. So I had no way of winning after that. But I was very happy with the results. And yeah, try it out. It's a very good deck.